goal is don't give up runs. So they can say wild pitcher, whatever, but the goal is 0 runs. If you can do that, I don't care how many people I walk. It doesn't matter.
Blake, it's Alex here. Well, I mean, you haven't really been walking guys. Today you didn't have any walks. And I know, like, you know, when you were in San Diego, like what you were just talking about, like you didn't care, like if you walk guys, you were going to pitch your game. But obviously throughout this year, your command has gotten much better. Just kind of walk me through, like, as far as, like, when did you start feeling that confidence to where, like, you can be more of a complete pitcher and not have to and work with command, use all 3 pitches effectively, and not be walking guys like you were earlier in your career?
Yeah, I think just, you know, you play the game as a game. You just mature. You understand. You have belief, confidence. You've kind of seen everything play out before, so you don't get nervous or worried anymore or as much. You still might have it a little bit, but, I mean, it's just really the belief of everything. And then you just start getting in the zone more and more, and then you realize contact's good, and you just kind of evolve.
8 scoreless, faced the minimum through 8 innings, and finished with 17 in a row retired. Locked in. What a way to set the tone. Blake Snell, thanks for the time. Congrats on a great night tonight.
Yeah, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
And again, he was phenomenal. That was one talking point. This was another. Bases loaded, top 4. Max Muncy goes to center field. Sal Frelick back and thought for a moment maybe he made the catch. The base runners were all kinds of confused. And as it turns out, they get the force at home to cut down 1 run. And William Contreras, paying attention, goes to third. And even,
sounds like, what's going on here?
Exactly.
What's going on here?
It wasn't a catch because it just nicked the wall at the top of the wall. But, again, Dodgers runners confused, going back and forth, and it turns into an 8-6-2 force, and then the double play at third base. This was really something.
Yeah, I mean, if it was probably one of the wildest plays. Almost ended up costing the Dodgers a little bit here.
Yeah.
But let's go back to this to actually see what and break this down, because we can see Frelick going back. He's got a beat on the ball, and it hits off his glove, then the wall. So clearly that's not going to be a catch after catching it off the wall. Then it ends up being a forced play. Now, at this point, everyone's wondering what the heck's going on. Contreras does a good job just being heads up right here to tag third base just in case. Not sure. And you see Vic Carapazzo, the third base umpire, giving the out signal. But in this situation, you have the base runners right here. Teoscar goes back to third base. Will Smith's doing the right thing, going halfway, right? And in this situation, Teoscar, right there at third base, is ready to tag. He sees the ball go off of his glove. Then he thinks he's got it. He's going to go, and then sees him catch it again, thinking he has to catch the ball before he has to tag, which ends up making him too slow to the plate and heads up on the Brewers to get the force out. Now, Will Smith goes back to third base, or goes back to second base here, because he thinks it's a catch and doesn't see the umpire signal no catch out in the outfield, and Contreras does the heads up thing and goes over to third base to get the force out, and you end up getting the double play. Now, the thing is here, the rule is you don't have to catch the ball, right, to tag. It has to hit the glove of the fielder, and then the runner's allowed to advance.
Yeah, it's not something that we see an awful lot of, but no one knows the rule book any better than the umpires, of course, and few umpires maybe know it better than Ted Barrett, who was in the big leagues for 29 seasons, and he joins us right now. Ted, thanks a lot for taking the time. I'm guessing you could count on one hand how many times you've seen a play like that.
Yeah, I definitely have not seen that very often. Saw some weird things out there with catches against the wall. I've never seen a team get a double play on a ball off the center field wall, I can tell you that.
What are the mechanics of the umpiring crew, especially with the extra umpires down the lines in the postseason on a play like that?
Yeah, they're watching. They've got the responsibility of the catch, no catch. Great job by the crew to see this ball off the wall. That's really difficult to see. The guys on the line probably helped with that. And signaling no catch. Like Alex said, the base runner at third could have tagged up as soon as the ball touched the center fielder's glove. And then from there, as Will went back to second base, he could have then advanced after that. But mass confusion, and sometimes as a base runner, you don't see the umpire out there signaling no catch. And so it's understandable why Will got confused at second and didn't advance to third.
Hey, Ted, Al Leiter here. I'm just curious, because a normal season would have the 4 umpires. Here we have 6 in postseason. Could that be a little bit of the confusion as to which umpire was actually calling it? Because it looked like down the left field line, was that umpire's responsibility. Is that something you guys talk about as far as movement and where you are?
Yeah, it's good to see you, Al. But yeah, definitely that's something before the game because we don't usually work the six-man system, as you know. And so we'll talk about who has what responsibility. And, yeah, this would have been the left field umpire. Instead of during the season in the four-man, it would have been the third base umpire calling it. And so they did a good job, I think, of getting it right on the field and then sorting it out. You know, at some point, the reason this rule came in was some outfielder thought it might be smart just to keep tipping the ball and get closer and then throw it in. And so they made a rule that said, no, you can leave as soon as the ball touches the fielder's glove.
So much is happening in a loud environment. You guys do an unbelievable job. Ted Barrett, thanks for taking the time. We appreciate the insight.
You got it. Thanks, guys.
All right. Again, that was one of the wild plays that you rarely see, although we saw something similar to it earlier this year.
No, we saw it earlier this year, the Mets and the Dodgers. And the Dodgers are actually on the right side of this in a game at Citi Field where Mookie hits a ball out into the outfield. Same thing. And Conforto is on second base. You see there was a bobble, but this was a catch. Ended up being a catch. Ohtani ends up going to second base. And Lindor was the one. You see Conforto actually does the right play here where he actually tags as soon as it hits the glove, takes off, and the Mets ended up challenging it because it ended up being a catch and an out, but Conforto was safe at third base and Ohtani was safe at second base. So the Dodgers were actually on the right side of this because, you know, they at this point knew the rule and Conforto took off as soon as it hit the glove. Ohtani was able to advance and Lindor tagged second base thinking that Conforto left early when in reality he did what he was supposed to do.
Obviously, I was a pitcher, so I wasn't dealing with a lot of whole of base running. But I wonder, you know, there's so many fundamentals you got to work on, and it's all mostly now done exclusively in spring training.
But look,
is that something you guys worked on? Or no, not worked on, but discussed. Because this was a case that Teoscar, I don't think he knew the rule.
Well, but it's also, too, a reaction, too, you know, on the field in real time. But it is sometimes, like I've been on teams where in spring training we'll go through certain rules that are a little bit kind of like not so much on the gray side, but like you're not sure of. Like, you know, we were talking about this when this play happened. Yeah. Like, you know, how many guys actually know that rule where you can go when it hits the glove, not necessarily when it's a catch? And we saw in that play right there, Teoscar, you know, reacting as if he needed to catch the ball first before he can advance. So that would tell you, yeah, maybe that's what he interpreted the rule as, when in reality, like, all you have to do is touch the glove and you can go.
Yeah, the other difference between the play at Citi and the play tonight was also that the wall comes into play, right? So that's another element to the whole thing. But the guy that was in the middle of all of it, Sal Frelick, talking about it after the game.
Max put a good swing on it, went back, figured it was close to the wall, and if it was going out or not, so just wanted to give myself a play at it and jumped up and ball kind of tipped off my glove, and then I just kind of saw it floating there, so I grabbed it and just fired it into Joey because I saw Teoscar was going like back to third to tag, and yeah, I didn't really know what had happened. I didn't know it hit the wall at the time, so yeah, kind of weird one.
So what do you think of Williams?
Well, it was such a fun game to watch. There were so many things involved, but the last two instances of an 8-6-2 double play, you had the game in Game 1, Dodgers and Brewers, and then you go back to 2004, the Reds and the Cubs. Ken Griffey Jr., Sammy Sosa involved with that one, so that's not bad at all. Let's go to Milwaukee right now. Abby LeVar standing by with Freddie Freeman.
All right, Freddie, what was going through your mind there at the end as things got close?
Yeah, I mean, I got gray right here, and it was starting to go up into all the way up into my beard. You know, it's tense. It's postseason. Every pitch is huge. And that was a massive insurance fund we were able to get in the top of the ninth, obviously 2020 hindsight. But, you know, every run's important. They played great defense. We played great defense. Pitching was amazing. Kind of what we expected in this series. It's really good to get the first one done.
Okay, well, we didn't jinx it. So you've got, I think it's 12 homers and like 44 games here. I don't know if that's the right stat, but it's still pretty good.
It's close enough.
So what were you seeing on that at bat?
Yeah, so, I mean, obviously I had a good swing on my second at bat where I felt a little bit more confident in my swing. And I got to 2 strikes there, and he had front door to 2-seamer earlier in that bat, so I figured he had gone cutters away and a 4-seam away, so I was I started looking in. So I thought he was going to try and front door 2-seam. It was a 4-seam, but it was in the right spot and I golfed it out.
Did you? And you had another one there on that double?
I did. I did. I thought I knew I'd top spin it because it was a curveball and I knew I was coming up on it and kind of top spin it, but I still thought I hit it high enough to get it out. But luckily, I was able so fast to get to second base.
Blake Snell, what does he mean to this team?
Yeah, I mean, that's the name of the game right there. 8 strong innings. He's been doing it since he came off the IL for us. Our starting pitching has been pretty much amazing for the last 2 months, and no different tonight. He was able to throw the changeup to right-handed hitters, 82 to 88, throttle it when he wants. Just had everything going tonight. We needed a big one on the road in the first game, and you accept that.
Thanks, Freddie. Congrats.
You know, Freddie plays it cool. Like, yeah, I thought I hit another home run because he's done it so often. I mean, most postseason home runs as a first baseman. He's got 15 and a chance, who knows, to catch Albert Pujols, who's got 18. Let's head back to Milwaukee and listen to Pat Murphy after the game.
In the 9th inning there, but the eight innings before that, with the way Snell pitched, how many times have you seen a pitcher just look that in control in a playoff game like that?
He was great. His sequencing in terms of throwing his changeup is effective. His changeup and slider were incredible. The kid was incredible. I've seen him pitch like that before. I think it's his most dominant performance against us. I've been here 10 years. I think that's the kid Swellenbach from Atlanta had one against us earlier, kind of in the shadows. It was kind of different, but the kid was amazing. And Will Smith, the way he called the game, and it was unusual the way he did it. He didn't go back and forth. He just went change up, and the ball was moving so much, and it was such a great pitch. He recognized it and stayed with it. And so I credit Smith too, and Snell was unbelievable.
Jack.
Murph, we kind of saw it at times throughout the regular season, even on nights where a guy on the opposite side was throwing the ball really well, you could at least kind of work the pitch count up, get him out of the game earlier by not chasing, working longer at bats. Did it just feel like with how Snell was throwing tonight, he kind of took away your opportunities to do that?
Yeah, I mean, his breaking ball was so good. He could flip it in there for a strike and then have the one below. It was really hard to discern, and the changeup was dominant to right-handers. So it was really, really difficult to get a beat on it. Yeah, he did. We couldn't get anything going. You know, those pitches are really hard to bunt. They're really hard to put in play, and you know, we don't usually punch out 10 times, but you know, it's what happened.
Go to the left side.
And our defense was great. I mean, our defense played great. The play Sal made. So Collins made a great play. Terang made 3 or 4 really nice plays. Yeah, that was a great performance on our half. Our pitching staff, for the most part, did a really, really good job. You know, Freddie Freeman's been a Brewer killer for a while, so hopefully he'll oversleep tomorrow or something.
Left side, third row.
Murph, on that double play to end the 4th inning, have you ever seen anything like that before? And what was your view of it from the dugout?
Yeah, just what happened. You know, Sal caught it, then it touched the wall. Base runner got confused, and we got it in as quickly as possible, made the play at the plate, then heads up, William got the out at third. So, yeah, I mean, it's very unusual, and it's tough for the base runner to figure out what happened. But you know, it's one of those plays in baseball. We got very fortunate there, but great defense on our guys' part for Sal and Contreras to be that heads up. Joey make the throw. Yeah, that was big. We got another big double play after that, after we walked Ohtani. Yeah, it was pretty special. Defensive night, and a night, I mean, to hold the Dodgers down 2 runs and a leadoff walk, and you know, it's a different game.
Go to Kevin in the front row.
Thanks for your time and your family's time. You made the decision to intentionally walk Shohei twice, even though the numbers show that he's really scuffling. Is that a situation where he's just so good that he can bust out of it at any time, and he's the guy you don't want? You decided coming into the series that's the guy that's not going to beat you?
It wasn't as hard a decision as you think, because when a bag's open and you can turn it into a double play situation, you got a right-hander on the mound, you kind of have to go for that. And Shohei is at least dangerous enough, struggling or not, he's dangerous enough to hit a fly ball, and you can't give up the run there. You know, with the way we were swinging against Snell, you couldn't give up a run. So I don't think those were like, you know, huge risky decisions. The numbers didn't matter to me. You know, I told you guys the first day here, I think Mookie Betts is one of the best players in baseball for a lot of reasons. But it was no disrespect to him. It was just the right thing to do with a right-hander on the mound and Shohei coming up with his ability to strike the ball so hard and put it in the outfield.